Hello and welcome to this video brought to you by the West Haven Public Library. Today we're going to be working on the May take-home adult craft. This month the craft is a cotton yarned crocheted set of face scrubbies or coasters, whichever you prefer to make. The design is going to be basically the same for each one, so you can make as many or as few as you want of either design. You could also feel free to use the supplies provided to make whatever you want outside of coasters and scrubbies, so feel free to get creative. So for this project you're going to need a ball of yarn, which is provided to you by the library, and a crochet hook, also provided. What you're going to need from home is a pair of scissors and a needle. Okay, so to begin, go ahead and grab your crochet hook. You want to hold it with your thumb on the flat part with the little crevice here kind of facing you. If it gets flipped around, doesn't quite matter. You can just always move it around. Go ahead and grab a length of yarn, and we're going to start by making a magic circle. This is what we're going to make the entire project out of. So what you want to do is wrap the yarn around your two fingers so you have kind of this loop going around. Put the hook through the loop, and what you want to do is pick up this piece of yarn back here that leads to the ball of yarn. Make sure you're not working with the tail end because you're going to run out very quickly. So make your loop, bring your hook through the loop, back here, pick up the piece of yarn connected to the ball of yarn. It kind of helps to grab the piece in two fingers if you can, and then pull that string rather, through the loop you've made. And this is a chain. We're going to be doing a lot of these. Alright, so once you've done that, you can kind of adjust yourself here, fix the tail so that it's not all tangled up in your circle. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 double crochets in this circle to make the base of our project. So to do that, first you need to get your work up to height. So we've already done one chain, which is this. We're going to do a second chain, so you're just going to wrap your long end of yarn around your hook and go ahead and just pull it through, and that's another chain, and then do it one more time, pull it through, and now you've got 1, 2, 3 chains. This is the height of a double crochet. Alright, so we're not going to count this one as a double crochet. We're going to skip over it later. I'll show you that when we get to it. But from here we're going to do 10 double crochets in this loop. So to do that, you bring the yarn over your hook just once, bring your hook through the loop, pick up the yarn again, and when you come back here, you've got 1, 2, 3 pieces of yarn going around your loop, going around your hook rather, I'm sorry. And then you just wrap the yarn one more time, so now you have 4. And to make the double crochet, you're only going to pull through 2. So you pull through the 2, and now you only have 2 left. You wrap your yarn around the hook one more time, and then you pull through both loops this time. And this is what your double crochet is going to look like. So we'll do that again. Wrap the yarn around your hook, go right into the loop, pick up the yarn, and wrap the yarn one more time around the hook, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull through just 2 of the loops. Now you have just 2. Wrap it one more time and pull through the last 2. Alright, and you're just going to keep repeating that. This is 1 and 2. We're ignoring this one, skipping this one. So we're just going to keep repeating this until we have 10 of these double crochets total. Something to keep in mind here too, you want to keep, oops, let me finish that. You want to keep your short end close to your ring, because as we crochet over it, it's kind of working to keep the tail hidden as well as kind of keep it secured so that you don't have to worry about it becoming undone later on. So if you work over your tail anytime you're working on a project, it kind of keeps it stable. You don't have to worry so much about your threads coming loose if you don't do quite a good job sewing it later on. That's my cat. Sorry. Okay, so once you've got your 10 double crochets in there, just pull a little bit so we don't accidentally lose where we are. And now at this point, you can grab your short end, hold on to your double crochets, and pull. And this is going to cinch the circle shut. All right, and that's going to give us this little shape. And then we can close up the circle from here. So let's get your hook back in the loop. Oops. Back in the loop. And then go ahead and pull your longer, the one connected to the ball. Pull that until this is back to normal. And then to close this, what we're going to do is we're skipping this one, the 3 that we chained to get to the right height. We're going to skip it. It's going to get hidden as we close it. So we are going to go to this first chain up here. At the top of each double crochet, see the little V shape is a chain, and this is what we're going to be working into for the rest of the project. So from here, just put your hook through the first chain, wrap your yarn around the hook, pull it right through, and then pull it through this one as well. That's a slip stitch. It's used to finish rows, finish off, basically to close your stitches. All right, so the next step, we are going to start our second round. We got to get up to height again. This time we're only moving up. Instead of 3 chains up, we're only moving 1. So just wrap your yarn around your hook, pull it through. We've moved up 1 chain. And to make your project bigger, you basically, when you're working in the round, you have to do a little bit of math. So for this first row, we just need to put 2 stitches in every single chain going around. So yeah, 2 stitches in each chain going all the way around. That'll basically double the size of the project. The row after that, we're going to do 2 stitches in 1 stitch, and then 1 in the next, 2 in the next one, 1 in the next, and repeat with that pattern. So that way it gets bigger but proportionally. So for this first row, we are just going to single crochet this time 2 times into every single stitch around. So to do that, you're going to put your hook through the first chain. Again, that's this one that we're already kind of in. Put your hook right through. Pull the yarn through. You've got 2 on your hook. Pull through 1 more time and go through both. And that's your single crochet. So we're going to do this 1 more time. So into this same little part that we were in. And there we go. So now we have 2 coming out of the same chain. So we're going to repeat. So we go into the next chain, the one right next to it. And again, if you look at it on top, you can kind of see like the V shape. So you want to find this little hole that you can fit your hook through. Grab the yarn, pull it through, wrap your yarn once, and pull through both loops. And then do that 1 more time in this same exact chain. All right, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around. All right, so once you get towards the end, it should look a little bit like this. If you've lost track along the way, that's okay. There's an easy fix to that. If you count each of the chains going around, you count them all. If you have 20 exact, you're golden. Sorry, my cat stealing my supplies. All right. So if you've got 20 all the way around, you're good. You've done it right. If you find you've only got like 19 or 18, it's okay to then, in this last one, do an extra chain or two to get yourself to 20. But if you've got, if you need to make up for like 3 or 4 chains, you may just want to undo your work and try again. Just to make it easier, because it'll look a little bit weird if you have too many here. It'll bunch up a little bit. So if you're only 1 or 2 off, this is a nice quick fix to just fit the last 1 or 2 in this last chain. So what we want to do here is slip stitch. Again, we're going to close off this round. So you're going to put your hook through the first chain, pull your yarn through it, and through again, and that way it finishes off. Okay, so at this point, now that we have slip stitched, we can actually get this out of the way because this can get kind of confusing. I'm just going to snip mine because we worked over it. And there, that way we have less stray strands hanging around. Alright, so we're at this point. We are now on to, this was the first row with the double crochet, this was the second row with a single crochet. We're going to do another row of double crochet. So we are going to do 1, 2, and 3. Now we're at the right height. Again, we're going to ignore this later on, but for now it's just there. So we're going to start with 2 double crochets into this same stitch that we are already in. So wrap your yarn around the hook once. Go ahead and fit the hook through the little opening there. Pick up the yarn and wrap the yarn one last time. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 little loops on there. You're going to pull through just 2 of them. Wrap your yarn one more time and pull through the last 2. And one more time. Wrap once, go into the same little area that we are working in, pull through, wrap one more time, so we have 4, pull through just 2 of them, wrap one more time, pull through the last 2. So these are our 2 double crochets. Next, we are going to double crochet just 1 time into this next stitch. So wrap your yarn once, go through this chain, pick up your yarn, wrap it around. You got your 4 loops, pull through just the 2, wrap one more time, pull through the 2. Okay, and that's all we're doing for this chain. So you're going to we're going to do 2 double crochets in the very next one. So wrap your yarn, go into the next chain, pull through, wrap again, pull through 2, wrap again, pull through 2, and one more time into this same stitch. So wrap your yarn, go into the same stitch, pull through, wrap again, pull through just the 2, wrap again, pull through just the 2. So we're basically going to repeat this all the way around. 2 double crochets in one stitch, 1 double crochet in the next, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1, all the way around. Okay, so when you make it all around, you should have 30 all the way around. I missed a step somewhere and I only have 29, so I'm just going to put 1 more in this stitch here. That way I hit my number 30. And then again, we are going to slip stitch to close the round. We are going to skip the 3 that we chained just to get to the height. We don't really need that. And we're going to slip stitch right into this top chain here. So put your hook through it, wrap your yarn, pull through. Oops, and I picked up actually a little bit too much yarn. No worries there either. You can either just pull your hook back out and start over, or you can try to finagle it and try to drop that little extra piece that you have there like I just did. However you want to do it. And then just pull through that last loop to finish that up. Okay, so here is where we get into the personalizing bit of this. If you are looking for the little floral design that was advertised with this project, we will get to that step. You can go to the time shown on your screen to get to that. Ignore the steps between here and there. You would basically be making the flower petals starting from right here. If you don't want the floral design, you'd rather it just be a plain circle like this, or you want to make it bigger just because you want like a coaster size for any kind of mug you have at home, these next two steps will make it larger. It'll stay just a plain circle. So for right now, we'll go with the largening steps and then go to the time shown on your screen if you would rather the floral design. Okay, so to make this big enough to be a decent sized coaster, we are basically just going to repeat these two rows here, but with a slightly different pattern. Every row you get up, you do an extra single item. So in this row we did 2 double crochet, one single double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then one by itself. In this next one we're going to do 2 in the same stitch, 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and then 2 in the next stitch. So each row you go up, the ones that are alone in stitches, that increases by 1 each row. So for this row, we're going to do single crochet, again to stick with our pattern of double, single, double. So to do that, we have to get to the height first, do a chain. So 1 chain, that's all we need. And then you are going to single crochet twice into this same stitch. Oh, and I pulled up too much again. It's okay. There we go. So that's the 1 single crochet. Do 1 more time, same stitch. And 2. All right. And then in each of these next 2 stitches, we're only doing 1 single crochet. So place your hook in, just do the 1 single crochet, and the next one again, just the 1 single crochet. Now in the next stitch, we're doing 2 single crochets. And what these 2 and 1 stitch does is it expands the project a little bit. Because if you were just to do 1 in each one, you would end up with like a bowl shape because it would never get wider, it would just get taller. So anything you're doing, any project you're doing where you're trying to expand the size of your project, you need to do two stitches in a chain in order to actually increase the size. All right, so 1 single crochet in the next, 1 single crochet in the next. All right, those are 2. This next one we're doing 2 in the same stitch. And then we're repeating. So single crochet, 2 single crochets, single crochet, single crochet, 2 single crochets, and keep going all the way around. All right, once you've made it all the way around, you should have 40 all the way. Again, if you are 1 or 2 short, just go ahead and fit those in these last couple of stitches. Otherwise, we are going to slip stitch into this first, not the chain 1 that we did, but the actual first crochet that we did. Okay, put your hook in through there, pull through, and pull through again. All right, so at this point, if you are happy with this size, you could leave it. Otherwise, we'll do one more around, and from there, if you want to increase it further, just keep following the pattern. You just increase that one that goes by itself every time around. So this next row, if you choose to do it, you're going to chain 3 to get up to the height for the double crochet. Double crochet twice into, into the same stitch we're in. If it's very, like, you don't think you can quite fit in there, like it just doesn't seem like it's gonna work that well, don't worry, go on into the next one. We'll just make up for it at the end of the row. Okay, so you do your 2 double crochet into the same stitch. Now, this last row we did 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. This next row we're doing the 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So you have 3 of them that are all by themselves. All right, so you've got your 2 double crochet in the same stitch, and then 3 of them each in their own stitch. You do 2 double crochet in the very next one. And the next 3 each get their own. So the first stitch, double crochet, go to the next one, double crochet, go to the next one, double crochet. All right, and you're just going to repeat that all the way around. All right, so once you've gone all the way around, you should have something like this. You should have 50 in this final row. I only got to 49, and I'm going to put my 50th right in here to kind of make up for the one I skipped. And then again, you just skip the 3 chains, go into the top of the first real double crochet. Oops, didn't quite get that right. One more time. There we go. And slip stitch. Oops, I lost a little piece. There we go. So at this point, you would just snip your yarn and go ahead and snip your yarn. Leave yourself a little bit of a tail to work with. And you're just going to wrap it around your hook and pull it through. And then from here you can just by hand tighten it. That way if it fits, or it fits down nice and flush against the rest of the chains. And then you would just sew this end into the back of your project. Okay. So if you would like to do the flower shaped design, after you've done your 3 rows, we'll do the final step here to make the flower petals. So this one is a little bit different from the last couple of rows. So the very first thing you want to do, we're going to chain 5, we're going to double crochet 5 times into the very next stitch. So we can actually ignore where we are. Wrap your yarn around your hook. We're going to go into this very next chain. Just do a double crochet like normal. And now you're going to do this 4 more times in this same chain. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's probably going to get a little bit difficult to work with this by the 5th one, but that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. All right, so now you've got this You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all in the same chain, or next stitch rather, I'm sorry. So you're going to skip the very next one, which is this one, skip it over entirely, and we are going to slip stitch into this next one. So skip this one, put your hook in the next one, pull through, and then pull through again. And that's going to finalize this little petal shape. Okay, so next step, we skip this next chain and we double crochet 5 times into the next one. Oops, sorry, that was my cat. He's running around. So skip this one, double crochet 5 times into the next one. That gives a little bit of space between each petal so everything maintains its distinct shape. One, two, three. Okay, so one more. Okay, go ahead, skip the next one and slip stitch into the one right after it. All right, skip the next one, double crochet 5 times into the one after it. Skip the next one, slip stitch into the one after. Okay, and you are just going to repeat this all the way around until you've got these little petals all the way to about here, and then I'll show you how to finish off the project. So once you've made your way around and you've got your last 5 double crochets in here, all you have to do is slip stitch into this last little area. That's it, and then you are going to cut your yarn, leave yourself a little tail, oops, come on, leave yourself a little bit of a tail to work with, probably a little bit more than I left mine. Wrap it around your hook one more time, and then just pull through and pull it tight so that it's fastened against the rest of the chains and kind of blends in. And then last step is just to sew in your ends. Okay, it took me a few tries, but we got it. And then all you want to do is just thread it behind your stitches. You don't want to go all the way through so that it's showing through the front. You just want to go through the back loops. That way your needle's not going through the front of the project. And you don't have to go crazy with it, especially if you're using these as face scrubbies. You know, they're gonna get messed up as you use them, like a washcloth would. If you're using them for coasters, you're gonna spill things on them. So a little piece of yarn sticking out at some point, it's not the end of the world at all. Once you've secured it just a little bit, you can go ahead and just, oops, my bad, snip it. Oops, there we go. And then barely, I can't see it, I lost it already, but as long as you cut it close enough down, you can kind of like stretch your project out a little bit and it'll get hidden very easily. So now you've got a cute little flower shaped face scrubby. You can make it larger, like if you're following the earlier instructions, you'll have a large coaster, or if you want to use that as a face scrubby minus the flower petals, however you want to do it, or if you want to make something entirely different, if you have other patterns in mind. The cotton's really good for kitchen and bathroom projects because it's a little bit more resistant to the heat, so it's good for pot holders and other kitchen items, and it's just nice nice on the skin, good for a face cloth type of project. Anyway, that is everything. With the amount of yarn that you've been given for the project, you should be able to make 2, 3, maybe even 4, depending on how you use your yarn. If you have tighter stitches, you'll probably use up a little bit less and can make a few more. If you have looser stitches like mine, you might make a few fewer than someone else might. But use your yarn and the supplies given to the best of your ability. Have fun making it, and thank you so much for joining in for this project.